Okay, well, I am back sooner than I expected. I think sooner than anybody expected. Once information got out that Neal Brown's contract was being uh, extended, discussed, whatever, it did not take long for the deal to be done. Suggests to me that it was not a difficult thing for them to do and not argumentative, shall we say, or shall I say. The official announcement has been made, but they did not announce a lot of details. Some things have made it into the media on the "this is what we are hearing" terms. We will find out details when the official information issues kick in and we actually see the material. But Neal Brown does have a new contract. Here are some of the things that we think we know. It only adds one more year. It is not a long extension. Salary, he actually took a cut for the next 2 or 3 years. And then the last 1 or 2 years of the contract does seem to kind of make that up. It's still not an increase. And certainly with Leipold getting a very big contract in Big 12 terms recently, some people might have expected Brown to go after more money, but Neal Brown is not motivated by money as his number one. He's a coach, he's a teacher. He wants to do a good job at that. Of course, $4 million a year should be enough to be able to eat out occasionally. I don't think he's suffering, and I don't think he would ever claim to be suffering. But it's still, in this day and age, or any day and age, significant when somebody says, hey, I'll take less so we can make other things better. And that money Brown is not getting paid goes probably into the pool for assistant coaches and other staff members, probably including guys like Fabianich. We need to pay the staff overall more. We've gotten good guys. We need to keep them. I think Brown is really working hard to make the program better, not just fatten his account. I know that's difficult for some people to understand. That's all right. It actually does reduce the percentage of salary for buyout if either decides they're done. So it is easier to break the contract for either side. And some people are already saying, hey, Brown is doing this because he's planning to leave, and then some are just saying fire Brown. They haven't come up with a new idea in years. But I think this is an indication of the relationship between Brown and Baker. I think those two really do get along very well. I think they have not just a similar view, a similar approach. I think they are, really in sync. And guys like that don't need to depend on penalties. And a contract that is more about the penalties and the negatives than it is about the positives should be worrisome. I mean, if you need a contract loaded with penalties, if either side feels a need for that, there's a problem. And I think these two guys would work on a handshake if they could. I think a lot of things going on between the two of them is more of sort of a handshake, let's get this job done kind of a deal. The contract is more for the university and the state. And I like that. I mean, I really think these guys, I think the way they work together is going to benefit this program immensely. I'm happy to be able to say that because, as I mentioned before, I was very worried when the AD job came up. I thought they would put in a yes man from, some of the major donors would get somebody they wanted and could control. Hell, maybe they thought that's what they were getting, but it's not what they got. Baker is everything the publicity said he was going to be. And man, I'm happy to be able to say that. Now, there's no real information about what the deal is as far as the money for coaches and, that general pool. It's evidently not a direct part of the contract. It's being done kind of as a side deal. We hopefully will know more later. Now, whether or not that is going to boost the contracts of any current coaches and staff, I don't know. Well, of course, some of that money doesn't kick in until next year, so maybe they will revise some of those contracts next year. I think they probably will have to if they want to keep some of the people. Overall, I mean, it doesn't look big because we're not talking about big money changes. We're not talking about a long extension. I think this is a quietly very big deal. I mean, it is showing support for Brown. So we've got them now saying, hey, we plan on keeping him. And I think that element of cooperation financially and psychologically by reducing penalties, I think that really, it fits the culture that Brown has tried to establish, and I think that's the culture that Baker wants to establish. And if we establish that in the interactions between, staff and administration, that helps. I mean, heaven knows, the old labor management split is alive and well. And people in West Virginia, should be very familiar with how much stress and trouble you get when the workers, management, company owners are not cooperating with one another and respecting each other. So I think the fact that Brown and Baker don't just tolerate each other and don't just understand each other, but really seem to share a vision. As a vision not only for where they want to get, but how they want to get there. I think that is going to really make things run well. And that means your energy goes into the work itself, not into the tension between people and departments. Now, of course, this could all change depending on who we end up with as the new president when Guy leaves. I am happy to see Guy go. I didn't like him the first time, didn't like him the second time, didn't like him at Ohio State. But just getting rid of what I consider to be a negative does not mean he'll be replaced with a positive, and I don't think Brown or Baker are going to have any real say in who gets hired. I think it would be better if they did. Let's get the Board of Trustees out of this, because I don't like the Board of Trustees. But for the time being, I think the program was already in a very good spot, and it just got better. And that is always good news. All right, that's it for the contract information, or my thoughts on the contract. So I will see everybody later. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Click that thumbs up button. You can ignore the thumbs down button. I won't mind that. Make comments. Click to share. Tell your friends. And I will see you guys on another. Oh, and there is a little PayPal link going to be showing up in there. I do appreciate if that gets used. All right. See you guys later. It's getting to be lunchtime, and I haven't had breakfast. So long.